Right. For number 8, it says which would generate the following table, which, remember, each of these are all just solutions or points on a graph. So if I want to see which one it would generate it, then we just have to check which one of these works for all 3 of them. Not just for one, you got to make sure it works for all 3. So I'll just start off with the first one. I'm going to substitute -2 for x and -7 for y. So let's start off with here. So I have y, which we're going to use as -7. So -7 is equal to -5 times x, and now I'm going to choose my x right here as -2. So -2 plus 28. And by doing that, let's see what happens. If I solve this out, I get -7 is equal to 10 plus 28, and definitely that's not true. So it's not A. Now I move on to B. Same thing. I'm going to start off with the y is -7. So doing that, I get -7 is equal to, -7 is equal to -x. So what is my x is -2. And then plus 28. Oops. Sorry, plus -9. The correct one. -9. Right, so I have y and my -x -9. And now working this out, first 2 negatives make that into a positive, so that's a +2 minus 9. And 2 minus 9, that is definitely -7, which is what I want. So far it works for the first one, but we got to keep trying it out. So we're still working on this B, seeing does it work for the other 2. So now I'm going to plug in 1 for x and 5 for y. So trying that, I'm going to plug in 1 for x, so let's see, and 5 for y. So I have 5 is equal to -x, but this time I have a 1 for my x, and then -9 again. And let's see what happens here. I have 5 is equal to -1 minus 9, which is 5 is equal to -10. And it didn't work. So that's why if you try just one, you may get something that works, but if you don't try the other ones, you may get something that's still not a solution for all of them. So let's move on to the next one. I have y is equal to 4x plus 1. So this time I'm going to plug in -2 for x again, -7y, but now we're working with c. So -7 for y is equal to 4 times x, which is -2. And then I have plus 1. And working this one out, I get -7 is equal to -8 plus 1, which is -7 is equal to -7. So it works. Now let's move on to the second point to make sure that one's also a solution. So I'm going to plug it into the same one. This time it's 5 for y, 4 times x, and again our x is 1, and plus 1. And so I get 5 is equal to 4 plus 1, which is 5. So great. Now let's just check the last one. I have 3 for x and 13 for y. So we have 13 is equal to 4 times 3 plus 1. And I get 13 is 12 plus 1, which is 13. So now I see it works for all 3 of them, so this one is my solution.